How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
The ICE ban in 2035, I think, is a little bit theoretical, because I'm deeply convinced, we are deeply convinced that electric vehicles are the better products for customers. The smooth ride, no tailpipe emissions, brisk acceleration, and these are benefits you've got each and every day. And this is why I can't believe why by 2035 customers should actually want to buy ICE vehicles.
Now, here in the UK, of course, you're reconfiguring Halewood to produce parts for electric vehicles. Will any of them be in this new car that you're unveiling today?
Halewood will be one of the major places for us to supply our future product line of electric vehicles with electric drivetrains. They're not going to go into this vehicle, but in other products which we have in the lineup to be launched a little bit later this year.
Now, obviously, the UK is your biggest market here in Europe. Is the grid capacity and charging infrastructure in the UK sufficient for the kind of rollout that you hope to see?
So we are convinced that the build-up of capacity, charging capacity, grid capacity, will keep up with the growing demand and the larger number of electric vehicles in the market, both in Europe and also in the UK, because it's very clear where consumers are going. It's very clear where the market is going. And we see the necessary investments coming in order to build the infrastructure we need for a large range of electric vehicles.
All right, Martin Sander, good luck with the launch today, and appreciate you joining me today. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Pity he didn't show us the car, though. He was teasing us there, wouldn't he, keeping it under a blanket? Maybe we'll have a look at it later on today. Anyway, still to come here on Ian King Live. We'll take a look at how global markets are doing this Tuesday morning. Stay with us.
We're really excited about this research. It's been funded by the Scottish Government and Wellbeing of Women. And this is a study using a drug called dichloroacetate, which has been a drug that's been around for many years treating other conditions. And what we're looking to now is see if this can be effective to treat endometriosis-associated pain.
Okay, so what's it treated previously?
So it's been used predominantly in the past for metabolic disorders in children, so children who've got very high levels of a substance called lactate, which is produced when the cells don't have enough oxygen. And work that we've done in Edinburgh, funded by Wellbeing of Women, has found that patients with endometriosis have much higher levels of lactate inside their pelvis. And that gave us a potential new treatment approach that we could use in endometriosis that wasn't like the traditional treatments, which are predominantly related to hormones or to surgery.
I was diagnosed with endometriosis in 2014, but wasn't actually told about it until 2020.
Right.
During that 6 years, I struggled with going to work, dropping my son to school, deliberating symptoms, vomiting, back pain, sciatic leg pain.
Did you know what was going on?
No, bad period. That's what I just assumed it to be. But as I was suffering so much, that's when I went back to the doctors and I said, no, look, there is something wrong. And they sent me for 2 scans and I was diagnosed with endometriosis. That was 2020, but my medical notes actually said that I had endometriosis from 2014. I have no treatments because I have other illnesses, so I'm not allowed to take hormones, which is something they give to a lot of women to suppress the symptoms.
For many patients, they can't take hormone, like Tanya, but I think also for many patients, that's the side effects of hormonal treatment that means that then they don't want to take them, or that they've used them and they've not been effective. So there's this real unmet need for an effective treatment for endometriosis, and particularly giving women options that are hormone-free to manage their symptoms.
Well, following gains yesterday in Europe and on Wall Street, equity markets in the Asia-Pacific region put in a solid showing overnight. Tokyo, you can ignore that figure, it was closed for a public holiday, but elsewhere there were gains in Hong Kong, Shanghai, Sydney and in Singapore. Well, European markets are also on the front foot this morning. Here's the current picture. All the main continental European indices in positive territory right now. Talking points today include RWE, Germany's biggest power utility, is ahead by 2% in Frankfurt, following an 11% hike in its annual dividend. Shares of UBS, which rose 1.5% yesterday following its rescue of rival Credit Suisse, well, they're up another 4.5% in Zurich right now. Well, here in London, the FTSE 100 is also in positive territory, up 1.33% right now, and a broad-based rally led by the banks, life companies and asset managers. All the banks sold off yesterday, but they're all in positive territory right now. NatWest is the leading percentage gainer in the FTSE. Currently, the life company Prudential also in pretty solid form. Both of them up by nearly 4% apiece. There you go. The Pru's up 3.75% nearly. Outside the FTSE 100, the infrastructure group Hill and Smith is up some 3%. That's on the back of recent director buy, now 2.5%. And Balfour Beatty, it's up by nearly 3%. That is following positive broker comment. You'll recall it had results last week, which we featured on the programme. On the foreign exchange markets, well, the US dollar was slightly ahead of tomorrow night's interest rate decision from the US Federal Reserve, and indeed that remains the case. Sterling off 1/5% right now against the greenback. Sterling also off by just over 1/3% against the euro. The single currency, meanwhile, is up nearly 1/4% against the dollar. As for the oil price, well, what a session that had yesterday. At one point, it fell to its lowest level since December 2021 before staging a recovery last night, and it's consolidated those gains this morning. A barrel of Brent crude will currently set you back $74.55 a barrel. That's up a little over 1%. But joining me this morning is the chief market analyst at Finalto, Neil Wilson. Neil, good to see you this morning. First Republic is really, again, in the eye of the hurricane. The shares more than halved yesterday. Is this going to be the next domino that falls in this banking crisis?
Well, I mean, it would certainly be the first contender, if you like. It seems to be the one that's in the most severe distress at the moment. We have seen the big Wall Street banks. They plowed $30 billion of cash in as a deposit at First Republic in an effort to shore things up. But the shares were off spectacularly yesterday, and now there's talk of converting that deposit into equity. And it does seem to me that's probably throwing good money after bad, but we'll see. I think that the problem that we're facing right now with the banking situation is that whilst that immediate danger of Credit Suisse blowing up seems to have been averted with the UBS deal, you have investors constantly sort of searching and wondering who's going to be next. And until that sort of process stops, then that uncertainty is going to persist, although we are seeing a bit of a broad relief rally this morning, as you said.
Yeah, what was interesting to me last night, Neil, was that, I mean, there was a lot of talk about these mid-tier and regional lenders in the US. Apart from First Republic, they all ended up in positive territory last night, the likes of PacWest Bancorp, for example.
Yeah, so I mean, there's very much this focus on First Republic. There's been deposit outflows and so on. And I think what you see with the sort of market dynamics and the sort of crowd behaviour here is that investors are herding into where they think the least dangerous and avoiding what they see as the weakest link. So that's why Silicon Valley was the first to go. Credit Suisse is the fact is that it's been taken out not really as a result of Silicon Valley Bank blowing up, but really because of years and years of mismanagement and failures. So you are looking at who's going to be the next weak link, and it does rather seem that First Republic is in the firing line.
Now, looking at the macro, we've obviously got interest rate decisions this week from the Bank of England, the Federal Reserve, and, lest we forget them, the Swiss National Bank itself. I mean, all eyes on the Fed, really, I guess. What are you expecting out of them tomorrow?
So with the Fed, the market's pricing sort of roughly 83% chance that they raise rates by 25 basis points. So that would be the base case. There's a roughly 17% chance that the Fed actually pauses rates because of obviously the banking turmoil, financial instability being a key thing that the Fed looks at, of course. we think that probably they'll go with that hike. The ECB last week went ahead with that 50 basis point hike despite all the turmoil in the banking system. And I think the Fed's going to be minded to do the same, because we need to remember that inflation is still running too hot. It came down to 6% last month, but it's still way too high. I think any sort of signal of a pause or even a cut, as I think some analysts have been saying, Nomura in particular, they called for the Fed to cut. That might signal a degree of concern that maybe the market doesn't need. So I think the message from the Fed will want to be, steady as she goes, and we'll keep on tackling inflation, but we'll keep on providing these liquidity channels and backstops for the banks as they see fit.
And obviously we have the Bank of England on Thursday. Again, it feels a bit more in the balance than the Fed's decision.
It is. So the money market's pricing very much a sort of evens chance of a hike on Thursday from the Bank of England. I think with the Bank of England, there's not that same stress in the UK banks that we're seeing maybe in Europe or in the US. And also, weighing on the side of a hike would be the fact that the OBR last week said that inflation is going to come down to 2.9% by the end of the year. So not particularly, if you're going on those sort of forecasts, not particularly pressing, you need to be raising rates aggressively at this point. So I think the market pricing is saying it's a bit of a toss of a coin. And, once if they do hike, then that's probably going to be it for the time being.
Yeah, well, we wait and watch. Neil, great to catch up with you this morning. Thanks for joining me.
Thanks, Bob. Cheers.
By people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Starr, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Are you looking for the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy door-to-door shipment company? Well, look no further. When was the last time your family received a shipment back in Ghana on time and in time? You are not sure? Well, Lamb Shippers, we pride ourselves with being the fastest, reliable, and trustworthy shippers you can use. You are assured of a prompt pickup anywhere in the UK by our personnel. They also make sure your items are well packaged to get to its destination in time. When it comes to door-to-door shipment, look no further. Well, Lamb Shippers, contact us on 07939009321 or 07498911820, or you can visit our website www.welllamp.co.uk. You can also drop us a mail, info@welllamp@gmail.com. Well Lamb Shippers, fast, reliable, and trustworthy.
Hi there. Are you dreaming of owning your own house in Ghana? Then you will need a well-documented piece of land that is free from troubles. I highly recommend My Africa Property for any size of land that you will need. With My Africa Property, lands are available in Pram, Sopoli, Tohenia, Ogome, Dodoma, Winneba, and many other locations at affordable prices. These locations are about an hour away from the airport, only 35 minutes from the motorway, 10 minutes drive from Central University College, 10 minutes drive to the beach, and close to Pram Senior High School and Ghana Men's Soccer Center of Excellence. For more details, visit our website www.myafricaproperty.com or call our UK office on 0208 123 2523. For our US and Canada offices, call us on +1 585 184 994145. You can also email us at ghana@myafricaproperty.com.
Check me out. He tells me my energy is making him tired.
Yes!
How do you get the energy to do
I've been told that I have a lot of energy, but my goodness, I think today I have met my match people. I have met my matchless Suzanne. Wow, amazing.
One of the things that's the start of digging
Darkness.
the hole of darkness.
So what did that?
Myself and the world will adjust. And 2019.
Forget the proverbial boardroom. Join me, Simone Frazier, on The CEO, the program that gives you the driving seat over your life. Every Tuesday, 8 p.m. only on Starr Radio.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Tune in to On Point here on Starr Radio UK with Empress Regina every Monday at 5 p.m. GMT. Looking forward to your company.
Getting onto the property ladder has never been easy until now. Join us this and every Thursday from 7 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. live on the Property Hour show on Starr Radio UK, where we talk to mortgage brokers, property developers, estate agents, landlord, tenant, property consultants on how to invest or get into the property business and make money. You can't afford to miss this. The Property Hour show is your best source into the property industry.
The best radio show.
Hi there, this is CJ Buckman, your life coach. And whenever I'm in London, I listen to Starr Radio UK right here. But guess what? You can listen to wherever you are.
It's your man. Show them you got the cocoa set. Ladies and gentlemen, it's your boy Harry Song, aka Mr. Songs. This is the Kingmaker Baba for the girls. We're here. This is Starr Radio. Don't go nowhere. UK, London. We they call them London for who? For here, they call them London. And that's how you know. Just have fun and stay blessed.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
All around the world. In your car,
at work,
at home,
on your
this is
smartphone.
Starr Radio UK. Are you ready to turn it up?
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh, your heart is aching. Smile even though it's breaking. When there are clouds in the sky, you get by. If you smile through your fear and sorrow, smile and maybe tomorrow you find that life is still worthwhile. If you just smile. Hey, this is Archie and you are listening to Starr Radio UK and The Morning Show.
This is Starr Radio.
This is
UK.
Starr Radio
UK.
This is Starr Radio
UK.
Welcome.
broadcasting worldwide online 24/7.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio.
Love for you runs deep. All of you make my heart beat. You make a doubt they fade. Jesus, and that's what makes you great. You hold the world in your hands. The hand that made me who I am. Same God now, yesterday, and forevermore. And that's what makes you great. You are God. You will never change. You remain the same to the end. To the end.
This is Starr Radio UK.
One who took my pain, took away my shame. Lord, you reign. That's why forever call you great.
Okay, massive good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth, and those of you on other planets as well. We want to salute each and every one of you, and we want to say welcome to the Tuesday edition of the morning show. Today is the 21st day of March, the year 2023. We're at the time now 10:40. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, my name has not been changed yet, so I remain yours sincerely, the one and only.
This is the morning show with Archie.
Jesus.
Playing in the background something from Edith Morrison. But once again, let me say thank you very much for joining us this morning. And as I would say, from now till the end of the program, I'm going to be your compere. So just stay tuned, don't touch the dial, and enjoy the ride. Once again, welcome on board. Well, let me say good morning to my team this morning, Mr. Olayomi Koiki, and my able producer, Mr. Francis Guy. Now, I did tell you yesterday that I have a special surprise for you. When it pops up, I'm going to tell you about that. What about that? So, still a secret. All right, then. Well, let me say good morning to Felix, wherever you are. Mr. Frank Davis, good morning to you. My brother Kojo D, good morning. Bishop Adesina, good morning. Pastor Momo, Pastor Emmanuel Chidi. Olakunle, good morning to you. Anthony Adedeji, good morning. Aziz, good morning. Miss Gold, Moiwa, and Sir Maxwell as well. I salute each and every one of you, the numerous people who will be joining us. Sam Shunin, good morning to you all. But share the broadcast with your friends and loved ones and invite them to like our pages as well. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
All of you makes my heart beat. You make a dog fade, and that's what makes you.
Yes, Anthony. Yes. Much love to you too. Well, let me say, yes, for those of you who have joined us for the first time here on Starr Radio UK on a Tuesday edition of the morning show, I'm going to bring you the quotes for the day, the weather forecast will follow suit, then the travel update as well. We'll continue to look at some of the other stories making the rounds, known as Global Trotting. Then at 11 o'clock, we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who will be coming in to be telling us more about the details of what is happening in Nigeria, with updates from Nigeria at 11 o'clock. After that, we'll continue with our conversation. The lines will be open at 12 o'clock for you to add your voice to the discussions. And depending on the time, if my surprise comes in, then we'll try to pull the program to maybe after about 1 o'clock. If not, at 12:30, then we'll bring the curtains down for the end of the program as we normally do this time. Okay. So wherever you are, just hop in. Yes, it's like the Boris bus. Okay, so the quote for the day says, if you do not change your decision today, you can never change the quality of your life tomorrow. If you do not change your decision today, you can never change the quality of your life tomorrow. You want a better quality? Or you want a worse quality? Your actions or inactions will determine what is going to happen today in your future. So think about whatever you are doing. But we are broadcasting live on all the social media platforms on our own apps, whether it's iOS or Android, wherever you are. Make sure that your dial star logged on Starr Radio UK and then continue to enjoy the show with us. Okie dokie, now let's crack on. On the weather front, this is what the weather has got in stock for us this morning on Starr Radio UK here in London and the southeast of England. Well, this afternoon we'll see variable cloud and sunny spells. Light showers will be lingering early on, but conditions will be turning drier towards the evening. It's going to be mild as well. Now tonight will become overcast as band of a thick cloud moves from the west. Now rain during the second half of the night, heavy in places. It will continue to be mild and windy. When it comes to the temperature is going to be 15 degrees. The lower is going to be 11 degrees. Pollen level is going to be low. UV level is going to be moderate, and pollution is going to be low as well. So coming your way from Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Sunset is going to be 18:15 and sunrise for tomorrow morning is going to be at 06:02 hours.
Love for you.
And that brings us to the end of the weather forecast. So let's take a quick break and we come back and I bring you the travel update. Stay tuned.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Okay, so keep your eyes on the roads, I'm keeping navigated. I promise I'll be on the Starr Radio travel update that comes your way every weekday from 10:40. It's now 10:46. And how is your travel this morning? I'm going to tell you about what is happening here in the UK or in London, but you can tell me what is happening in your area because we're a worldwide radio station. So you might not know where you are talking about. There might be somebody there in his travels who's listening to us and can take a leaf from your book. What about that? Okay, so now let's crack on. On the underground this morning, apart from the Jubilee line that has got minor delays due to shortage of trains, all the others have got good service there. But on the London overground, good service there. London Tramlink has got severe delays between Elmes End and Arena due to a shortage of trams. Minor delays on the rest of the line as well. Now, DLR has also got past suspension, no service between Stratford and Bow Church while they fix, while they deal with a trespasser on the track at Padding Mill Lane. Good service on the rest of the line, though. And then let's crack on straight. Let's move on to the major roads in London. Let me tell you what is happening there on the major roads in London. A24, A4, Central London Red routes have all got closures. Now A12 and A13 have also got serious delays. Now keep your eyes on the roads. Now on the riverbank this morning, I can tell you assuredly good service throughout there. And also on the landing cable car, good service there as well. But this is where I'll move you straight to the final segment of the travel updates. That is the National Rail. So on the National Rail this morning, East Midlands Railway, ScotRail, Southern have all got minor delays. Now Transport for Wales have got special service. That aside, all the others have got good service there. And as I will say once again, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good dawn to you wherever you might be on planet Earth. Enjoy your commute for today, but you know what? Continue to keep your eyes on the roads.
Hi guys. guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission-free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it. You're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR. S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
I'm Dr. Donald Palmer, and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clements, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Welcome back to the program. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now to 9 minutes to the top of the hour. That means it's time for Global Trotting. So let's go now. So what is happening on your or where you are across the globe? There are lots of stories making the rounds. Now this morning I woke up to a very sad story that I heard pertaining to one of Ghana's ministers, former ministers, should I put it that way? Yeah, who has lost his life. Dr. Akotose, is that the name? When I heard it, I wasn't very sure, so I wanted to let me listen closely. And I heard it again. I was like, so sad. But those are some of the stories making the rounds across the globe. May his soul rest in perfect peace. And to those of us who are still living, yes, may God show us uncommon favor, right? Good. If you're celebrating a special day today, I salute you there. Okay. Now, straight looking at some of the stories making the rounds. Now, Xi and Putin discuss return visit on second day of Moscow talks. The Chinese president is on a state visit to Russia days after the International Criminal Court issued an arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin. But, well, he promises, I'm going to be, visiting. Or you will have to come and visit us in China. Is it a ploy to get him out of Russia? Well, I know that the Chinese will not allow anything to happen to him there. And the Ukraine says Russian missiles destroyed in Crimea. If confirmed, the strike suggests Ukraine capacity to deploy drones has also increased. And the Chinese regulator accuses chip tycoon of corruption. Zhao Weiguo formerly headed Tsinghua Unit Group, which was one of China's leading chip makers. Well, and Saudi Arabia releases U.S. man jailed over tweets. Now, Saad Ibrahim Ahmadi, 72, was arrested in 2021 when he arrived in Riyadh to visit his family. And 6 separatist preacher continues to elude police. Now, Punjab top court questions effort to find Amitpal Singh, who is being sought by thousands of police. My goodness, I bet he has to hide properly. But it's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. And tears of relief over Indonesia's syrup death lawsuit. More than 200 children died from tainted cough syrup. Now, a court will let parents seek compensation. My goodness, that's a good one there. A U.S. police on alert ahead of possible Trump's arrest. Now, police in New York, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles are expected to mobilize in case of potential unrest. What do you think is going to happen there? Well, lots more going to be coming your way from there. When it comes to Africa, well, we're going to Nigeria at 11 o'clock. But, Simon Ekpa, it is Simon Ekpa's birthday. Okay, to the good guy, wish a blessed and happy birthday. Okay, Professor Adibanji Akintoye, leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination, and Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, with Biafra spokesman Simon Ekpa, held a media chat to discuss about the both remain strong alliance between them. We'll be talking about that because because of that election that was going to be taking place and some unrest and some Igbos who were threatened and stuff like that. There seemed to have been some kind of ruffle of feathers there, but we'll be telling you more about that. The People's Democratic Party on the other hand, One Plateau, Bauchi, Oyo, Delta Rivers, Akwa Ibom states, while the new Nigeria People's Party emerged victorious in Kano, as we did say, bringing you some of the results making the rounds there. The results of the election in Abia and Enugu states were delayed following disputes between Labour Party and the PDP over the results from some local government areas. Now, fire has raised a section of Onitsha market downwards, well, and happiness ranking Nigeria, Ghana among least happy countries across around the world. Of course, if people don't know how to even get 1 square meal to eat, I mean, how can they be happy? And when you wake up, you're not sure that when you travel, you're going to be getting safe to your destination. How can you be happy? You don't know whether you're going to be kidnapped or whatever is going to take place. How can you be happy? When you know you're working hard and people are doing everything to frustrate your efforts, how can you be happy? But well, Ghana, Nigeria, my goodness. All right then. Now, when it comes to some of the other stories making the rounds on the African continent, now 43 Kenyan fired from Facebook moderators have filed a suit against Meta as the story. The Senegal president talks about controversial third term. Here, you see what is happening? Well, what is the constitution saying? Why should he behave that way? If the constitution mandates him that he can go as many times, fine. But if the constitution doesn't say so, and he wants to do that, that is when you have all these military or some people thinking that, no, that is not on. Like what happened in Ivory Coast, where the president decided, oh, okay, somebody that he wanted the president to run had died, and therefore now I'm going to run by myself. Why? Is he afraid of something? Because of maybe some skeletons that they've got in their cupboards or wardrobes, and therefore they think that, well, we need somebody who can protect our backs, and that's what they do. Is that why this man wants to go again? I'll be telling you more about that in a moment. Son of Namibia gay couple in citizenship limbo after court ruling, and Mali's junta leader presents new constitution project. Lots more going to be coming your way from there as well. It's all coming your way from Starr Radio UK and KCG, ECG, my apologies, disconnect power to whole airport, GRA and KFC over debt. You disconnect this power to the airport. How will planes land? They don't mean that the airport wouldn't operate, or they will still try to operate without the power. Well, maybe they have generators or plants, because definitely they should have that just in case of emergency. If there's an emergency power cut, then they can hop on that. But well, ambulance case, state abusing its prosecutorial powers. Auto forces lawyers says to court. We'll be telling you more about that. He says, I've got no case to answer. They are saying that, look, you know what? We think there's lots of cases, questions that you need to answer. We'll be telling you more about that as the program unfolds. And presidential staffer uses unprintable words on Adakabre for attacking Napo. Now, I mean, when it comes to our part of the world, politics, you want to get into politics, my goodness, forget about it. Forget about it. Because you're not going to have any good reputation when it comes to our part of the world. Because it's a dirty politics. Someone to say in this part of the world as well. But here, if somebody goes out to say something, the person can be held accountable for what they've said. But in our part of the world, like in Nigeria, early this morning, a friend sent me some video, which I'll try to see. A man who is so upset with what has happened in Nigeria during the election, and said for the way that the election was run, he decided that he doesn't want to be part of Nigeria, and took his passport, Nigerian passport, and tore it apart into pieces. So that is how bad people are now seeing. You think there's no need for any that country to even exist. But what do you think about all that? Intervene in rising tension between Achime Buakwa Kutuku. That's what the Adroejiri youth are saying to the president of Ghana. And the government won't be able to secure IMF deal by end of March. That's what the former finance minister Setekwe is also saying. The former Otafo MP, Dr. Akoto Osei, has also passed on. And a former member of parliament for Otafo in the Ashanti region, Dr. Antonio Osei Akoto, has died. Former Otafo MP, Honorable Dr. Antonio Osei Akoto, passes away. May he rest in peace. Ghana's parliament posted on Monday, March 20, 2023. The former lawmaker died aged 69. However, details of the cause of his death, the death of the former finance minister, are not yet known. So we'll be maybe to his family, we say may our condolences, and may his soul rest in perfect peace. It is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Let's take a musical break, and as we wait for Miss Olayomi Koiki to join in, stay tuned. This is from Theodora Gospel, and it says everlasting to everlasting. It's only the kingdom of God that lasts forever, but every person, one day we are here, tomorrow will not be. Can you remember back in the day when I was growing up in secondary school, and I remember Abacha, and I was so scared about of that man. When I hear, I said, how can somebody be that weak, strong, and everybody won? But then one day we woke up and Abacha died. I said, what? Well, so, but enjoy. The only person who doesn't die or doesn't his kingdom doesn't pass away is the kingdom of God. Enjoy this, and I'll be with you. Stay tuned.
Enlighten your day with Starr Radio. Starr Radio. Radio for the people, by the people.
We worship you and lift you high. We bow before your throne. Great I am, omnipotent, King of kings, and Lord of lords. We worship you and lift you high. Your kingdom spreads from age to age, from everlasting to everlasting. There is no one like you. We worship you, Lord. We worship you high, lift you high. To reign, Lord, kingdom spread from age to age, everlasting to everlasting. There is no one like you. We worship
You are listening to Starr Radio.
For you, O Lord, are the creator who was not created, king who has no successor, flower that never fades. Abba Father, we
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
Well, it is Starr Radio UK. What a soothing tune this morning from Pastor Tudor Abwachiansa, from everlasting to everlasting. And it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, NHS education or awareness time on Starr Radio UK for this month. Yes, takes place every weekday from 10 a.m. It's been 10 a.m. to 10:15. Yes, and then in the evenings exactly from 5 p.m. to 5:15 as well. So we want to invite you to listen to it and then adhere to the instructions that is being given there. It might help you a great deal. But wherever you are, it is Starr Radio UK. Whilst we wait for Olayomi Koiki to prepare to get in, he's preparing, so he's getting all the information across. But wherever you are, just stay tuned whilst I bring you some of the stories that we're going to be looking at. Now, Kaduna State government declares 24-hour curfew in Jema and Kora LGA's local government areas. But the question is, why? And terrorism financing. Tilko Mahmoud's plead not guilty to 10 counts charge. Well, the Independent National Electoral Commission officer identified as Bashir Shagari has been kidnapped by suspected gunmen on Monday, 20th of March. My goodness, at Maradun town in the Maradun LG local government area in Zamfara state. And these are things that are happening. And I tell you that that video that Frank sent me early this morning, and I looked at it, and then the man was saying that, look, with the election that was held and everything that took place, I'm so disappointed. I don't want to be part of Nigeria anymore. The hope that I had in that country, Nigeria, is all gone. And that is some of the issues that others are saying. But you know what? Let's go to our North London studios where we have Mr. Olayomi Koiki, who is all ready to fire on all cylinders this morning to let you know what is happening in Nigeria. And Yomi, let me say massive good morning to you.
A very good morning to you once again, Mr. Archie. Good morning to our listeners and viewers. A very blessed afternoon to those watching us all the way from Nigeria, and a very good evening to those watching us as far as Australia and New Zealand and Japan. And I say good morning once again to those of us in Europe, and this is Starr Radio UK. It is the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London, and as we say all the time, if it's not here, then where could it be? But you can always make sure that if you're not following us on the Twitter, then you might not be getting the update that we are already on. But also remember to follow us on the www.starradiouk.com, where you can at least have an idea when we are on, in terms of when you want to join the program. But like I said, 11 o'clock, it's all about the most populous black nation in the world. Whether people agree with it, I'm even getting message that Nigeria still remains the happiest country in the world. I don't know where that data is coming from.
So it's Nigeria and Ghana that are the happiest country because the politicians are killing the people. So politicians, pity for us, we beg you. Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in our North London studios. I'm actually here in the South studio. How are you? How are you?
As usual, when you say, how am I? When we have a life, we are still grateful, especially, when you look at some of the people back home, whether it is a mental issue, whether it is issue that should have been resolved for a very long time. I'm not too sure. I mean, a 75-year-old grandmother in Iforiti, Oloro, has allegedly set her son, daughter-in-law, grandchildren ablaze in Ondo State, southwest Nigeria. So these are some of those news that comes up sometimes, and when you say, how am I just have to say, we're doing very well, but whatever I've let a grandmother set son, daughter-in-law, and the grandchildren ablaze at 75 years old is something that a lot of people will be probably asking, what a tragedy that occurred at Akpomu a suburb of Akure, Ondo State. And like I always say, news is always underreported in most African countries. This actually happened over the weekend, but we are just getting the news coming out as we speak. These are the rural area that probably, for one reason or the other, news doesn't filter out as quickly as possible.
It's a very sad one. Many a times I do talk about the fact that when it comes to our health system, back home, it's nothing good to write home about at all. So this woman, is she suffering from depression? Is it dementia? What exactly is happening? Have they actually sought, or as we see all the time, when people are growing old and they're suffering from dementia and behaving a bit, they will say, oh, it's all witch, and then we go, those who are killing them, and so what has happened there? But that is the failure of the system that we live in. And so when people say that with all these things, we are so fed up, we don't want to know, then why do you tell them that they shouldn't say what they are saying? But Omabolaji Abdullahi says, good morning, Mr. Archie and Mr. Koiki, the king of media from the Yoruba land. God bless you all and your team watching from Dubai. Hello, all Dubaians. Everyone watching from Dubai, we salute you. And Tosino in Moscow as well, we salute you, our own envoy in Moscow. Good morning to you. Okay, now let's come to some of the stories making the rounds. I was happy when I saw the information pertaining to the discussions of phone calls, so we call it discussions between the Yoruba and the Igbo with the elections. That was the aftermath of the presidential election, getting to the gubernatorial and everything that took place. It wasn't pleasant. It wasn't pleasant at all, because I was saying that the moment the authorities find out that there is a divided front, those who are even want to look at what they are even doing to themselves, then yes, they can crack on and crack down at everybody and do whatever. But the story says yesterday, Professor Akintoye, leader of the Yoruba Self-Determination, and Dr. Chief Sunday Igboho, they speak with Biafra spokesman Simon Ekpa. Is it Simon Ekpa's birthday today too?
Yeah, it is. It is. Simon's Ekpa birthday, and we wish him happy birthday from this front as well. You're quite right. Yesterday, an emergency media chat, was broadcast to the world, through the Biafra spokesperson, and likewise the Yoruba's media from our leader, Professor Adebanji Akintoye. And the whole purpose of such and quick engagement was nothing more than the fact that the issues surrounding these Igbo are going to be taking our land from Lagos State. Let's quickly listen to a bit of what Professor said in that, and then I'm going to come back as well to the conversation. Star Radio UK.
From the shackles of Nigeria, period. That does it. Lagos is part of Yoruba land, as Simon has said. And there is, I think, those of the people who want to cause trouble by saying Lagos is a no man's land, you please stop saying that, because it causes irritation. It causes irritation and it causes anger. But why do you want to annoy people? Lagos can never be anything other than Yoruba. So saying it is a no man's land is very insulting. Please stop saying so. Okay? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I believe that message is also well received. Those that are making some comments that is not real, or is not disease from also making such a comment. So we all know, everybody knows the history, and it's like that.
So that is, Professor saying it clearly in that, media chat. We're going to hear a little bit from what Dr. Oloye Sunday Igboho actually said during the course of the program as well, and I think we could get that right now.
Let me apologize before about every day. Did you to know that Lagos State is a Yoruba land? Then I know my people, my Yoruba people, they can never fight any Igbo in Lagos. Lagos State is our land. It's a Yoruba land. because we have many Igbo people in your land there, in Akwa Ibom, Port Harcourt, every day. You didn't fight them. So why our Yoruba people fight the Igbo in Lagos? They can't. I trust my people. They can never fight any. Then we are not politicians. If any politician fight themselves, I think maybe they don't have anything to do with them. You understand? We're supposed to talk to our people. We are the same. The Afro people, Yoruba nation people, we are the same because we are fighting for our right. Then we are fighting for our country. So I want the love between Yoruba and Igbo. We are together there. We have love with each other. So I thank Mr. Simon. We are the same. Then I want you to talk to your people in Lagos there that this political matter didn't concern us. So I want you to talk to them to let us know that our Yoruba nation people, they can never fight. They can't fight any Igbo in Lagos there. Lagos State is a Yoruba land. Then we too, we talk to our people to leave anybody to do his own business in Lagos. So I promise you, I will call my people to talk to our elderly people in Lagos to leave anybody alone to do your own business in Lagos. We are together. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Sunday. That's a very straight message there, and I believe the message, the Afro people have received that message, which is that whoever that is attacking any Biafra or any Igbo person in Lagos is not representing the Oduduwa nation.
So you can't hear it more than exclusive on Star Radio UK. All these was just under half an hour emergency media chat that was put together by the alliance of the Biafra and the Yorubas as well. And it is now clear. I mean, Professor started speaking at about 1942, and some of what he said was same thing we are fighting for us is the same with what the Biafra are doing as well. And every little up as well. Neither of us, both the Biafra and the Yoruba nation, have anything to do, with what has been played out, by the politicians, especially within the Southwest. We would not have anything to do with the politics of Nigeria, according to Professor Adebanji Akintoye. He also went on to say that this to them to stop creating trouble, stop threatening people in the interest of this alliance that we have as well. Is talking now directly to those that keep on saying that Lagos is no man's land. He had him correctly there, and Chief Igbowo says Lagos is a Yoruba land, but yet we would not have anything to do with the political system because what we want is our right to self-determination. Professor went on to say further, election have come and gone. All those noise must not stop. And I believe it will stop because now that those that want to be the governors and they've actually been able to do so, will reduce the tension between the Igbo and the Yoruba, especially those living in Lagos State. He went on to say that the shackles of Nigeria, we are not part of Nigeria. May God bless Biafra and may God bless Yoruba nation. All these was the emergency media chat between the alliance team of the Yoruba nation and the Biafra. Star Radio UK, the finest African and Caribbean radio station in London. And I return back to you, Mr. Archie, in the studio.
Yes, Mr. Listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki in Northland studio, bringing you some excerpts of a live video chat between the Yoruba nation and the IPOB as well. Okay, someone Ekpa representing the IPOB. But we'll say thank you very much. Oluremi says good morning to Star Radio UK, Frank, Archie, Olayomi, and the fans. And we say good morning to you. Hope you are doing very well. All right, then. Now let's crack on. Now with this video or this media presentation that was done yesterday, how has it been received on the ground? Because it's one thing we leaders sitting here say, oh, we're going to do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. But the people who actually perpetrate the act are the ones on the ground. How has it been received?
Well, it will take a bit of, a couple of days to quickly remember that, Professor Adebanji Akintoye still has, a strong network within other Yoruba elders. Remember that the Afenifere that he was one time, part of them until he decided that, the Nigerian structure is not something that he wants to work with. The Afenifere endorsed Peter Obi during this election, and likewise, as Chief Sunday Igboho also mentioned there, that he's also going to be talking to somebody like, some of those elders. And I remember that each time that we had a phone call from Lagos State, from one of our leader, the Afenifere, the social cultural group, Pa Ayo Adebanjo, we always travel down. I traveled to, his home state, and likewise Lagos a couple of times with Igboho. And, in the private discussion, it's always about the unity of Nigeria first, even though they still believe that Nigeria can still be restructured back to what it was in the 1960s. I mean, I'm not sure what their statement will be coming out now that the election is over, whether they will still stand on that, or they might also be moving a little bit away from such. But like I said, very soon, a message of peace is what was projected yesterday, and I'm sure those back home will definitely at some point have to key into it, because the last thing we want is, fighting each other when it comes to the Igbo and the Yoruba, because of the territory that some of the Igbos mentioned those statements saying Lagos is no man's land. But we know that those statements is not something that is, is an authoritative firm that they are taking the land. It's just that there are some words that we use that we don't want to use them here on the platform. Even within the UK context, there are some statements that we alter when you're buying, from the corner shop, but you don't really mean it. But we do know that those statements are wrong to be used.
Yeah, of course. I mean, when it comes to the Rwandan war, it was statements like that. Somebody just said something, carelessly, and that started the whole thing that civil war in Rwanda that happened. So please, let's be careful of our words, whatever things that we are saying. That's why we are careful, whatever we say on this platform, making sure that we bring you coincides and one that is truth and nothing but the truth. But it is Starr Radio UK. Well, how many days on after the gubernatorial elections, and what are some of the results coming through? Who is winning and who is on the losing side? Which of the parties is doing better? But I can see the picture of the map in the background, and I'm seeing lots of blues, a few red, and some purple, and some yellow as well, or amber. So tell us more about that, Yomi.
Well, the blue one, stand for the APC. So, if I move a little bit like that, you'll be able to see, APC are the one that have captured most of the state. Let's take a look at, those states quickly. 15 states under the APC, 6 states under the PDP, NMPP, 1 state. They've been able to take away Kano State. I don't know how APC are going to react, but life continue. They say because Kano State was a state that they would probably not want to lose. So when you look at those states, let's start taking it from Sokoto State. The blue there is APC. You go straight into Kaduna. There's still some contest going on as well. You go to Yobe. Borno is a very, very big state. There's a lot of insurgency in that particular state as well. You come down into Gombe State, but in between Borno, Gombe State, Bauchi has gone back again to PDP. Plateau State has gone to PDP. Kaduna State is gone to APC. Niger State is gone to APC. Kwara State, which is coming down to the southwest with about almost 16 local government, has come back again to APC. The governor is coming back as well. Is not a new governor, but it's coming back. Oyo State, you can see the red in the Oyo State there. In between Ogun State, and Oyo has about 33 local government. I mean, you can actually get 4 states out of Oyo State. And at the early hours of this morning, I was asking the question while I was running a program. What are the functions of the local government council, and how long will it take, for us to develop Oyo State? For those of us that are saying that Nigeria context of, the politicians using the same 1999 constitution. And I went further back to when Governor of Lagos State, then Sanwo-Olu, went to Magodo Estate, and he was actually asking a CSP, how many of your team have you got here? I want you to move away from here. And he was actually saying that, he's not taking command from the governor, even though the governor is the chief security, is actually taking his command from the IG. So, and that is one of the the very sad part of the 1999 Constitution, you might not be able to do as much because the 1999 Constitution does not allow any of the state to have their own state police, and crime is local, they say. So when you come back to Cross River State, you've been able to take APC. Benue State, that used to be for PDP, you remember Governor Autumn, I had an opportunity to have an interview with him last year. It doesn't seem to be going very well in Benue State. It's gone back to APC, Nasarawa as well. Then when you now go back and look at Delta, it's gone to as well PDP. But there are still some little ones as well. When you look at the Ekiti State, Osun State, those ones did not participate in that election. That is why they've come in that color coded. So let's now quickly look back before the Independent National Electoral Commission yesterday released more results just after almost 72 hours. All the results so far as at 10 p.m. yesterday indicated that All Progressive Congress won the governorship election in 15 states, like I mentioned: Sokoto, Katsina, Jigawa, Gombe, Lagos State, Kwara, Niger, Yobe, Nasarawa, Cross River, Ebonyi, Ogun, Benue, Kaduna, and Borno State. And then the People's Democratic Party, on the other hand, have taken Plateau, Bauchi, Oyo, Delta, Rivers, and Akwa Ibom. I believe Nelson Wike was able to use whatever he has to make sure that his own state remained for PDP. Remember that he was a presidential aspirant, but he didn't. Not aspirant. He contested, but under the primaries of the PDP, and he has already said that he's going to remain in the PDP. He's not going anywhere. So he's been able to give PDP back to Rivers State. The result of election in Abia and Enugu, I'm kind of telling you the reason why, because it seems that the Labour Party is making headway, but there's a dispute between the Labour Party and the PDP over the result from some local government area. To resolve the issues, INEC have suspended further collation of the governorship result as well. So that is how far we can say in terms of the election that took place in Nigeria on the 18th Saturday, as we are still looking up to what will be the outcome. We've not talked about the House of Rep, but the most focused point now is the governors and the deputy as well. Star Radio UK, I'll come back to you now in the studio.
Well, listeners, Mr. Olayomi Koiki. So do you mean to say that the Labour Party has not won any state at all?
Well, not as we speak today, but it seems that Abia and Enugu is the two states that they are hoping that they might clinch on it. But as usual, corruption and intimidation is already cooking in, and we'll have to wait and see. So INEC is probably getting calls from the top, and they have to suspend the coalition there, and we wait to see further as well. I saw Rabiu Kwankwaso praying in front of the INEC yesterday. I'm not sure why, but we know that Kano State has gone to the NMPP, the only state that they've been able to capture.
Wow. Listen to Star Radio UK. Now, let's look at this other one where the Independent National Electoral Commission officer identified as Bashir Shagari has been kidnapped by suspected gunmen on Monday. Now, is it when they were collating, or maybe they just abducted somebody, they don't know who the person is? Is that what has actually happened there?
Well, we do know that violence, kidnapping, killings is not something new when it comes to election in Nigeria. And you're quite right. These particular, is quite saddening that someone has been adopted, and as I speak to you right now as well, adopted River APC campaign director has also been shot dead. This is another news that is just filtering through the wire. Gunmen have shot dead the All Progressive Congress campaign coordinator in Hohahada, West Local Government area of Rivers State. Remember that we just talked about Rivers State. Rivers State has gone back to PDP. Chizon Lena, at the early hours, he was adopted as well. Lena was reportedly kidnapped by the gunmen dressed in police uniform while voting for the governorship and the State House of Assembly election in his unit. The APC chieftain, he was gathered, tried to stop the gunmen from snatching electoral materials when he was also whisked away. and we can now confirm that he has been killed. The other one as well that you talked about, is not new. Like I said, when it comes to a situation like this in Nigeria, the question in the minds of those of us outside is, how should an election be a do or die that eventually people have to lose their lives, because of an election? I mean, if truly, they're going to serve the people, let the people decide, whether they want you or not, regardless of your political parties.
Well, interesting. And I have a video that Frank sent me. I could have aired that, because that's okay. Now, this gentleman who was talking, I don't know, I'll forward it to you, and he was talking about the fact that the way the election was held or was conducted, he is so disappointing that he decided to rip his Nigerian passport apart.
Well, if you have seen just one, there's about 3 of them as we speak right now that have decided to to turn those passports for their own reason, none that we might probably not understand. But from what they were saying in the video that I picked up as well, it seems that they are not pleased with the outcome of the result, and they are probably using their passport as a means of destruction. We can't advise anybody, but that's entirely up to individual making those decisions. But some of them are saying they are denouncing Nigeria from the video that I've watched. Let's listen to one of them coming from the feed right here.
Evening, fellow Nigerians. Having critically observed the way and manner the Nigerian election has been conducted so far, I have come to the conclusion that Nigeria can never be redeemed. As a result, I have decided not to be associated with anything called Nigeria. In order to buttress my assertion, I hereby destroy my Nigerian passport.
And that is the sound of somebody destroying their Nigerian passport. That is the first video. Then later on we started seeing another video, and this is another one speaking and also denouncing being a Nigerian.
As you can see, so I deny to be a Nigerian. I hope you can see. I can be in a country that has no constitution, that has no regard to human life, that has no regard to humanity. Nigeria has failed. Nigeria has failed. I cannot be in a country that has no law of humanity. Nigeria has failed its own people. The law also has failed.
Starr Radio UK, I'll come back again to you now in the studio at 11:33 a.m. as we continue to review some of the updates coming from Nigeria as more headline is still in the front.
Well, it's a sad thing, but somebody would say who is monitoring this is going to say that, you know what, it's because you have got another country, maybe you live overseas, you are in the diaspora, and therefore you can say, I don't want to be part of this one because I am a...
we don't have evidence to where these individuals are.
Of course.
As much as they might be outside, or they might be in Nigeria, but like I said, it is now 3 videos that is already in the surface of the social media denouncing being in Nigeria. It's not the first time. You're quite right. If you have a British passport, you can decide that you don't want to hold a Nigerian passport. And as long as you're not traveling to Nigeria, you don't have. Nnamdi Kanu did not tour his own passport, but he has denounced being in Nigeria, and he traveled to Kenya with a British passport, even though he was kidnapped with the same British passport, and rendition back to Nigeria. There's another man here in UK, that actually bought his own Nigerian passport some few years ago, live on the social media.
Wow.
And so many people have done the same thing. So I think these ones are probably now getting more angry looking at the system. Is that the right way to go about it? The governorship election, aggrieved candidates should go to the court according to the foreign observer. So the foreign observer say, if you are aggrieved, you have to go to court. The foreign observer, under the aegis of International Police Chaplain, Sustainable Development and Law Enforcement, have urged aggrieved political parties and their candidate to go to court to challenge the result. But the last person that told their passport say, being a country that have no constitution, I'm not sure even the judiciary has been listened to by the same government after the Naira scarcity, and they were told, the old and the new currency must be used parallel to December 30, but it took 7 days, and even after that, Nigerians are still struggling when it comes to the scarcity. And we talked about that yesterday, and we might be looking at what is the economy saying this morning as fire got lace and fabric shop in Onitsha market at the early hours of this morning. What a very sad news when market burned. The question is, who do you hold responsible? My wife was saying this morning that maybe some of them should start buying their own fire truck, employ people, but they're probably trying to save money. They're not looking at the other side as well. This year alone, Onitsha market is an international market in Anambra State, and I was just looking at some of the videos coming out, and you ask yourself, how do we get to where we are in 21st century where businesses, in this situation that we have in Nigeria, are being burnt down? Is something that is what to look into. Investors lost 16 billion in Nigerian stock market yesterday is the headline as well. Just to look at one more other story, addressing multiple shock will grow Nigeria, other African nations' economy. So according to the ECA, says that Africa economy could experience positive growth if the continent multiple shocks were adequately addressed. The one that Nigeria is facing right now is this election. Remember that the presidential election is not yet over, and that is instability for any investor to come in, knowing fully well that court case is still hanging on the president that might be there for a few months and then remove, and that means policy could change. So according to the Economic Commission of Africa, ECA, says that Africa economy could experience a very positive growth if only the continent multiple shocks were adequately addressed. This statement was coming from Adam Alireka, the director of the Macroeconomics and Governance Division, said, we want economy in Africa to grow, but how is it going to grow when there is a lot of issues on the table? Star Radio UK, I'll come back to you, Mr. Archie, in the studio.
Well, listeners, interesting. Wherever you are listening to us from, it is the Tuesday edition of the morning show. I'm this from Nigeria session of the show, and I have Mr. Olayomi, Koiki in our North London studios. I'm Archie here in the South studios. But interestingly, upon all that, well, Nigeria performed better than Ghana when it came to happy place to live. No, they were all bad, but at least Nigeria was better. I mean, but we talk about kidnapping and stuff like that. It's not in Ghana at the moment. We don't have it. It goes on there, but we don't have it as much as we hear in Nigeria. But so what is making Nigeria think that, well, you know what, at least we did better?
Well, it could be everything. Sometimes when you watch some of the comedies and the skits, the music, the food, even the pressure, all these. I'm trying to get a skit. I hope I might get it. In time before we end this program. I mean, when I listen to that, you laugh all the way through. Like I said, I'm not sure how these data continue to favor Nigerians, but in the midst of the pressure, Nigerians have become adapted. I mean, it is only in Nigeria that I don't know whether other African countries have the same, but in Nigeria, you can literally take your mobile phone, to your neighbor about 2 streets away and pick it up in the morning. There's nothing wrong in that. There's a lot of different Nigerians that are very, very unique when it comes to their brains power. And there's a particular skit. The man was going on his own. But there were 3 people dancing. They were dancing heavily. Sweating, and he didn't know what was happening. They had their 2 coolers, and anytime you see coolers, these are where food are kept. So he probably thought maybe they were dancing for food competition. I don't know. maybe they were dancing that after somebody win, they will probably take the the bucket or the cooler of rice, jollof rice, away. But eventually, these are prisoners that are dancing for a few hours. And while he was removing his T-shirt as well, he was dancing with them. And eventually, after the supervisor came and said, "Have they had a good time?" Yes. Okay, give them back their uniform and let's take them back to the prison. Then the other guy that joined them remembered that he was going on his own.
Yeah.
Started wondering, how did I find myself in this situation? So, and there's another one that I do watch. There are quite a lot of them out there. And this one, every now and then, they pick him up, they drop him in front of people, and he stand up in a red outfit, and sometimes people get scared. But because of the pressure, he was dropped at a particular point where, people that are probably not ate like 2 days, and their eyes were so red, and he stood up and realized that this is the wrong area. So maybe these are some of the things that people are still saying, but in reality, people are going through depression. We just saw a grandmother that literally burnt almost a whole family, and you ask yourself, what could have led to such atrocity? Is mental issues as well. So whoever is pulling these happiness ranking against Ghana amongst the least happiest country, even despite ranking poorly, Nigeria still performed better than Cameroon, Morocco, Ghana, Tunisia, and other African nations. Like I said, I'm not sure who is pulling these chart, but definitely we do know that with some of the skits that I've watched and I've listened to, it could take away your sorrow, but it might not put money in your bank account.
Maybe what do you call him? Laya Muhammad was the one who gave said, "Look, Nigeria, we are happy, we are doing that," and give all the list, and they said, "Okay, good, let's take that." But let me quickly acknowledge other people, and then I'll come back to Yomi for him to run up to bring you what is happening on social media and all the other stories. Now, Lakunle says, "Good afternoon, everyone on here, and a special one to Mr. Archie and White Lion, 100% of lap." Yes, thank you. Adam Olamilikan says, "Good morning, Mr. Archie and Koiki." He says, "Nigeria is denied in heaven already." He said, "Nigeria is not going to heaven," so that is finished. No, Luremi says, "Good afternoon, Olakunle." Okay, yes. So it's nice to be on the platform so we can share some love there. What about that? That makes us happy, and that's why they said that, well, upon everything, Nigeria is a happy place to live, better than some of the other countries, like Ghana, like Cameroon. My goodness. All right, then. Now, let's go to some of the other stories and what is happening on the social media platform. Over to you, Yomi.
Well, since we've touched so much on the the issues surrounding the market, issues surrounding the election, we're just going to go straight to the social media. Once again, happy birthday to the good guy, Mazi Simon Ekpa, the spokesperson for the Biafra as well. So what is trending on the social media? It seems now that the election is over, we are also using this platform. There is a guy called Chud. Even though he called Simon Ekpa a terrorist when Finland actually called Simon for questioning, but he has also now been kidnapped in Anambra State since Saturday. We are not going to call him a terrorist, but we're going to say that rights must be respected by each of the governors. And even though information is saying that he has now been moved to Abuja, because of some of his utterances during the election is the reason why. This particular individual, was actually using the word terrorist against Simon Ekpa some few weeks back. So some people say it's karma, but we just believe that, he's also living in a society that does not respect rule of law. Biafra is trending at about 47,000 this morning. LP PCC is trending, which is, I believe, the Labour Party. Mazi Simon Ekpa is also trending. I believe people wishing him happy birthday. He's also talking about, today I am receiving a sad news that Onitsha market is on fire. I remember a few months ago I called on the market leaders to set up let me get that quickly, security across our market against Fulani economic jihad, which is targeting our market. The agenda is to burn our market and means of livelihood. I don't know how far the market leaders have gone to establish the security, not the gate man. They must wake up now. The remaining market are not safe. as well. So that is coming from Mazi, Simon Ekpa as well. So this morning as well, the Yoruba Global Youth say this good and perfect explanation of the recent election that took place in Lagos State and the people of Yoruba land as well. And like I said, both our leaders have spoken and they've actually said Lagos is Yoruba man as well. Last Boy says, I would always be proud of you, my real leaders of Yoruba nation. And just one more as well. No media house is saying anything about Tinubu since the 18th of March. Tinubu is yet to comment on the ethnic tension in Lagos State, is yet to receive or celebrate Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu re-election. APC guys, some of us get intel where una no fit get. My advice is keep praying. I don't know what that means, but since Saturday, Tinubu actually voted on Saturday. It didn't alter any statement on Saturday. Rumors are out there, but we don't go with the rumors. We wait for the statement from a spokesperson or evidence base. But he has not yet congratulated the governor that he believes in. Likewise, he has not said anything on the ethnic tension as well. So we are going to wait and see. Well, it seems that Archie has done everything now that he has spoken very well during the election. He's an APC. He's now saying it is my turn to be the Senate president as an Igbo man. Starr Radio UK, that is how far we can go this morning.
Wow. Listeners, it is Starr Radio UK. You can't get it anywhere. As we say, it's only on this platform that you can get that. But let me acknowledge Miss Goals. I greet you all. We greet you too. We respond. And then Oloremi says that happy birthday to Simon Mazi Ekpa, and as many of you celebrating any day or any event here, we want to also salute you. But you know what? The resilience of our people makes them what they are and makes them happy. Though people are scratching the bottom of the barrel, some way, somehow, they try to find something to be hopeful on. Now, what about you?
And just the last one here, somebody is asking the deputy governor, the deputy candidate of the PDP in Lagos State, Funke Akindele, Funke Akindele, where are the 20 million Instagram followers that you say will come out and vote for you? PDP has 69,000 in Lagos State, as against Labour Party that had over 300 and something thousand.
Oh gosh. Well. Interested. And the whereabouts of Tinubu and his health, I don't know. But we don't want to speculate. We don't know yet, so we'll be following very, very closely. The old man is trying to rest a bit and come out with all his policies that is going to be implemented. So let's all wait and let's see. Yummy, let me say thank you very, very much for this wonderful time once again.
Well, stay tuned. Archie take you to the rest of the segment. There's still more update coming from African countries and the rest of the world as well. I'll be out again at 11 o'clock in the morning, but make sure you subscribe to the Starr Radio UK on Twitter and follow us so that we can be able to get as many of the news headlines that you can't get anywhere else, especially right here on the Starr Radio. Have a very good morning. Bye for now.
Bye. What I can say is that, all the 20 million followers are on this Lava page. Okay, that's why they weren't able to go and vote for whatever it is. Social media is different from when it comes to reality, when people have to go to a polling station to go and vote and everything. But wherever you are, I want to say thank you very, very much. We're going to enjoy some music. This is from a cover version of Bill Weather's song Lean on Me, cover version by Lamar. You know Lamar? Yes, he hails from Nigeria as well. Okay, let me bring you that tune and then we will continue with the show. But wherever you are, stay tuned, don't touch the dial. Starr, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London.
Sometimes in our lives we all have pain.
This is Starr Radio UK.
Sorrow,
in your car,
at work,
at home,
on your smartphone.
We know that there's always tomorrow. Lean on me when you're not strong, and I'll be your friend. I'll help you carry on, for it won't be long somebody to lean on. Please swallow your pride. If I have things you need to borrow for, no one can solve those of your needs that you won't let show. Lean on me when you're not strong. I'll be your friend. Oh, I'll help you carry on, and I will help you carry on. It won't be long. I know that it won't be long till I'm gonna need somebody to lean on. Yeah, you just call on me, brother, when you need a hand. We all need somebody.
This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio. This is Starr Radio.
I just might have a problem.
Broadcasting worldwide, online 24/7.
We all need somebody to lean on. Everybody sing. Just call on me when you need
This
a
is
friend,
Starr Radio.
when you need a friend.
In your car,
At work,
at home.
on your smartphone.
Let me break it
Starr
down.
Radio for the
This
people.
one goes out to
Live.
anybody who's lost somebody. See, I know what it feels like to lose someone you love.
Enlighten your
Yeah.
day with Starr Radio.
Oh, when you're feeling low, you are not alone. Sending love out to the NHS. Sending love out if you're in distress. Ooh, you know you can.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Hi guys, this is your friend Uruj from SendWave. SendWave is a money transfer app that is used by people all over the world to send money to their loved ones in Africa. With SendWave, you can send money to Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And the best part is, SendWave is absolutely commission free. Our exchange rates are excellent. You can see for yourself by checking them out on our website. So how do you use SendWave? SendWave is an app that you can download onto your phone from the App Store or Google Play Store. The app is free to download. After downloading it, just open the app and enter your name, email, and phone number. That's it, you're good to go. Make sure you use the promo code SR, S for Star, R for Radio. This promo code will give you £5 free credit to send to Africa on your first transaction. Your money will be delivered to your recipient within seconds. Feel free to call me on 0749 7377 647 at any time. I'll be happy to tell you all about SendWave and help you in any way I can. Remember to use the promo code SR for £5 free credit. Medasse.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One.
Tune in every day, every night at the Star Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say order, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program. It is Star Radio UK. Yeah, this afternoon exactly at 1:30, we'll be having BB Clement on BB Means Business. She's going to be having some special ladies once again. Last week we had three special ladies there. Today we're going to be having two. Another set of special ladies here celebrating International Women's Month. Okay, so we're going to be having them there on this platform. So make a time to be on. If you've not listened to the program before, if it's your first time, please just do listen. It's a program that will help you a great deal when it comes to your business and stuff like that. And she's going to be having as her guests, let me give you the names of the individuals that she's going to be having today. She's going to be having Yemi Jackson, who is the CEO of Engage, Transform, and Respected. Engage, Transform. Okay, the CEO of Engage, Transform, and another respected Kingdom Life coach and speaker and trainer, Debbie Akinkunle. They will be looking at celebrating women, continue to celebrate International Women's Month. So make sure you make a date with her. Success leaves clues. Success leaves clue. So come and hear how ordinary women have blazed their own trail in the marketplace, so you can do it too. Make a date with her once we come on. So it's Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Bringing the time now exactly to 3 minutes to the top of the hour. Let me announce the lines open so that we can just crack on, and then we bring the program to a close at 12:30 so that we can prepare the grounds for BB Clement as well. But wherever you are, don't even think of touching the dial. Don't do so. All right then. So now let's crack on. Now, if you want to join the conversation this afternoon or morning, my apologies, morning, because it's after 12 that I normally do that. So morning, well, it is, you can call us on 0208-133-2257 or 580208-133-2257 or 58. And those of you on in the US, Canada, and the Caribbean area, you can call us on 001-718 303-2737 001-718-303-2737. Okay, and then you want to text us at 075-3966-1744 075-3966-1744, and we will make sure that we respond live to you there as well. But we are streaming live on all the social media platforms as well. Twitter, we're on Twitter as well. It's at Star Radio UK, and the email address is info@starradiouk.com. But whatever you do, don't touch the dial. Continue to stay tuned whilst we bring you all that you need to know when it comes to what? When it comes to watching or knowing what is happening from across the globe. It is Star Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, now let's move on to some of the other stories making the rounds today. So on other African countries on the African continent, other countries on the African continent, now Kenya 43 fired for Facebook moderators file suit against Meta. Now some people who were fired there have decided to file a suit against Meta. A group of 43 Facebook moderators fired in January have announced they are filing a lawsuit in Kenya against the social network parent company Meta for, among other things, unlawful dismissal, according to a statement released on Monday. Now, Meta, which also encompasses Instagram and WhatsApp, has undertaken to reduce its workforce by nearly 25% in less than 6 months, a symbol of the difficulties faced by the tech sector. Now, in January, 260 content moderators working at Facebook Moderation Center in Nairobi, Kenya, were informed that they will be let go by Summer, the outsourcing company that has run the office since 2019 overnight. 2019. Overnight, these moderators doing critical work for East and South Africa have lost their jobs, the statement said. Now, 43 moderators of the Facebook Moderation Center in Nairobi are filing a lawsuit against the social media company and its contractors for firing the entire workforce and for blacklisting all the fired workers. The statement continued. So the question is, was it lawful? Was it unlawful? What are the laws pertaining to employment or labor in Kenya? So which law is applying there? Is it the laws of Kenya or the laws of the United States of America, where the mother company Meta is? Well, apparently it's another company that have a representative of the company Summer that has actually that employed these people. So I don't know how this all going to be panning out, but well, you want to know more, continue to stay tuned, because as and when there are, I promise you one thing for sure, I'm going to bring it your way so that you know exactly what is happening when it comes to that part of the world. Now, EU fears a collapse of Tunisia. And with everything that is going on, the European Union is concerned about the deterioration of the political and economic situation in Tunisia and fears of a collapse of the country, declared Monday the head of European diplomacy, Joseph Borrell. The situation in Tunisia is very dangerous, he warned after a meeting of EU foreign ministers in Brussels. If Tunisia collapses, the risk causing migratory flows towards the EU and causing instability in the MENA region. We want to avoid this situation, he said. The minister asked Belgium and Portugal to send representatives on a mission to Tunisia in order to carry out an assessment of the situation to enable the EU to direct its measures, he specified. The European Union cannot help a country unable to sign an agreement with the International Monetary Fund, he maintained. President Kais Saied must sign with the IMF and implement the agreement, otherwise the situation will be very serious for Tunisia, he insisted. Now, President Saied has granted himself all powers since July 25, 2021 and has arrested many personalities. The main opposition parties denounce an authoritarian drift which is wobbling the young democracy that emerged from the first revolt of the Arab Spring in 2011. So what is going to happen on that front? What is going to happen on that front? That's the question on the lips of most people. Because if he fails to do so, and there is another uprising, now the country becomes unstable. Now we have migrants crossing, using that place to go. Can you just imagine what is happening in Libya? And let's say the same thing happening here in Tunisia. My goodness, what are we going to be seeing? But well, he doesn't want to sign any deal or anything with the IMF so that, well, you tell her cut this and stop that and do that. So he decided, no, I'm going alone. And then by so doing, pointing fingers at migrants. And this time around, like it's said in other countries where it was said here by some others, which I'm not going to say anything, well, you point finger at all the difficulties that we are facing is because of these people. They are the criminals. They are the ones not doing everything they're supposed to do. And that's why we find ourselves in that situation. And boom, that sparks fire. That's why most African countries, or sub-Saharan African countries, have come repatriated their citizens back to their countries. But what do you think? Well, a sad one there. Are we going to see it all just fall apart before us? What do you think there? It's coming your way from Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Well, we had the U.S. chief diplomat visiting Ethiopia. But Ethiopian Foreign Ministry has said on Tuesday that U.S. accusation of war crimes in Ethiopia, Tigray region, are inflammatory and selective because they unfairly allocate responsibility among the parties to the conflict. So on Monday evening, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken, who had just returned from Ethiopia, said that all the warring parties, pro-government forces and rebels, had committed war crimes during the 2-year conflict in Tigray, saying that many of these acts were not due to chance or an indirect consequence of the war, but were calculated and deliberate. Now he pointed especially to crimes against humanity attributed to the Federal Ethiopian Army and its allies, the Eritrean Army, and the forces and militias of the Amara region, including murders, rapes, and other forms of sexual violence and persecutions, without mentioning the forces of the rebel authorities in Tigray. In this regard, the government of Ethiopia does not accept the general condemnation contained in this American statement and sees no point in such a one-sided and antagonistic approach, the Ethiopian Foreign Ministry said in a statement Okay, now this statement is selective because it unfairly distributes responsibility among the parties for no apparent reason. The United States seems to exonerate one of the parties of certain accusations of human rights violations such as rape or sexual violence, despite clear and overwhelming evidence of its guilt. It continues, as Ethiopia implements the peace process, such an allocation of responsibility is unjustified and undermines U.S. support for an inclusive peace process in Ethiopia. But Washington's comments are also inappropriate. There will be further investigations into human rights abuses during the conflict, and this statement undermines Ethiopia's domestic efforts to fully investigate these charges, regardless of who the perpetrators are. That's what Addis Ababa is saying. Now, the question is, were there such war crimes perpetrated? Were they done? Who did it? Is Americans, or are the Americans looking at the majority of things that will happen and saying that, well, we think we have to apportion much blame to the one who perpetrated much or more of this act, and in this case the Ethiopian government itself, or the Ethiopian National Army, or Federal Ethiopian Army and its allies. Is that what has happened? But well, they say that no, you shouldn't say that. 7 minutes past the top of the hour, the time, Starr Radio UK, the station, the morning show, the program. As I said, I'll bring the program to a close at 12:30 to prepare the grounds for this afternoon's live show that's going to be taking place on the BB Means Business show with BB Clement. So now let's move on to a couple of other stories, and then we'll move on from there. Well, yesterday I did announce the South Sudan faction military that is saying that they're coming out with by the 11th of April signing of new and bringing in the interim government, civilian government and stuff like that. But an influential Sudanese political faction condemned Monday the plan by the country's military and the main pro-democracy forces to establish a transitional government despite lack of consensus. Now, the timeline unveiled Sunday, March 19, plans that a new civilian-led government will be formed next month. Now, we at the Democratic Bloc did not sign the framework agreement. We are not accepting it. We reject it. Or Ali Askari said, the chairman of the Democratic Alliance for Justice. Now, we do not accept the lawyer's draft. We have our points of views on the dates that we weren't consulted on. It is not accepted by us. I think any group forming an authority without an agreement with other political powers will lead the country into darkness. What do you think? What can they do? Now, when they put a thing across and say, okay, let's sign it, we start from a point and then we can work on it. But some decide, you know what, we don't want to sign it at all, and then they'll be punching holes. But you're looking at the majority of the people. Are you serving their interests? Or is it the parochial interest of yourself and your party? Is that what is happening there? Well. It's all coming away from Starr Radio UK. 9 minutes past the top of the hour at the time. Let's move on to some other stories making the rounds. There's lots and lots making the rounds on the African continent though. But let me touch on this one. And I'm going to have one story from Ghana and then we'll move on from there. Senegal's president is talking about a controversial third term. And I say, what brings about, the push factors when it comes to people organizing coup d'etats, overthrowing what democratically elected governments. Now, Senegal's president has rejected claims that it will be unconstitutional for him to seek a controversial third mandate, again refusing to confirm whether he plans to do so in an interview published on Monday. The opposition claims that Senegal's constitution prohibits Macky Sall, who was elected in 2012 and again in 2019, from running again and in the next election scheduled for February 2024. In an increasingly tense political climate, the opposition has repeatedly alleged that Sall intends to override the constitution to do so. Now, Senegal's constitution was revised in 2016 to shorten presidential terms to 5 years from 7. It says that no one can exercise more than 2 consecutive terms. But in an interview with the French magazine L'Express, posted online on Monday, Sall argued that when the Constitutional Council was consulted before the revision, it considered his first term to be outside the scope of the reform. My goodness. It's like what is happening in Togo, and it's like what is happening in where? Which other country did we see sort of thing happening? But by so doing, if some people think that no, that is not on, you are not the only wise person in this country, and maybe since you came into power, we don't see any improvement in our lives, we rather see retrogression, then what do you think is going to happen there? Well, do you blame the soldiers or some people who bring about insurrection, or what? I'm not calling for that, but these are the push factors. These are the things that they do that brings about such actions by some people. Are you only the wise person on the whole world or in the country? My goodness. Well, it is Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Now, financial institutions regulators should protect customers, not government. That's what Dan Sedor is saying. Now, let me bring that your way. A quick one. The executive director of the risk covering insurance brokerage, Dr. Dan Sedor, has taken on the regulators of financial institutions for leaving customers high and dry when government initiated its domestic debt exchange program. According to Dr. Sedor, regulators need to up their game in protecting customers since they provide the money used for investment. He said that at a graphic business bank breakfast meeting, which was themed domestic debt exchange, lessons and implications for how you invest today. Now, when you are speaking from the customer's perspective, the regulators really do not protect customers, and the regulators need to be told in the face that they need to up their game. It is the customers that come with the money that is invested, and it's not the government that needs to be protected, he said. So what do you think is going to happen on that one? The executive director also indicated that the government is too big to protect. Thus, regulators siding with government will only create more problems. He goes on further to say, we need to get the regulators to appreciate the fact that they need to invest, they need the investors, so they should work with the investors rather than the government, he added. So, is that throwing a spanner in the web of the government when it comes to this debt recovery program thing that they are doing? What do you think? It's All Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. But in another story, well, the former, I was going to call him the Chancellor of the Exchequer, the former Finance Minister Setekwe, has said that he is not sure that the country, that the government will be able to get the help that they want from the IMF by the close of this month. So, what are the impediments that are in the way of the government this time round? Starr Radio UK. Now, before we leave Ghana, that's our story that came from Ghana last night. The former member of parliament for Otafo in the Ashanti region, Dr. Anthony Osei Akoto, has died. The former lawmaker died aged 69. However, details of the cause of death of the former finance minister are not yet known. So we're monitoring it closely and we'll let you know as and when you have any stories to that effect. It is Starr Radio UK. Let's take a quick break, and once we come back, we will be bringing you what is happening in other parts of the world. Stay tuned and don't you go away.
Hi everyone, it's your girl BB Clement, the author of How to Go From Employee to Entrepreneur and the host of your weekly business show, BB Means Business, the show where we discuss everything you ever wanted to know about business but you were afraid to ask. How do I start my business? How do I raise the finance? How do I grow my business? Where am I going to find my customers? Join me every Tuesday at 1:30 p.m. on Starr Radio UK to get all the information and tips that you need to become a successful entrepreneur and become financially free. Remember, don't let life dictate to you. Rather, put your signature on life.
Hi, I'm Dr. Donald Palmer and I'm an immunologist. COVID-19 is still with us and making people ill every day, but it's not too late for all adults to book their first or second NHS COVID-19 vaccination. To get these vaccinations while they are still available and protect yourself and those around you, visit nhs.uk/COVID vaccination or call 119.
Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Everywhere you go, Afrobeat reggae dancehall taking over. Yo, what's up, people? This is a boy Raskin Bobo One. Tune in every day, every night at the Starr Radio UK with the big man them Archie. When I say Arta, you say fire.
Welcome back to the program Starr Radio UK, your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. The final segment of the program, and well, information coming through from the UK front. Well, Johnson accepts he misled MPs but spoke in good faith. Pertaining to the Partygate, he said, you know what? I misled MPs, so I've raised my hands. Yes, but I spoke in good faith. But I needed to get the whole country together. What about that? Let me bring you details of all that in a moment. But you know what? It's like Boris and whether his father or his big brother, what do you call him, Donald Trump, seem to be facing some legal thing there that could make or make them. Okay, so if Boris is found guilty when it comes to whether he misled Parliament and all that stuff, there's a tendency that he can lose his seat, and that means that he can come back, have the chance to ever lead the Conservative Party, okay, which is his ambition. He's looking forward to doing so. Okay, and then when it comes to Donald Trump with that affair there and the payment and everything that is said to have just whatever how it was labeled, that payment, I said, well, it's a payment for legal legal fees, but apparently that money was money that was paid to a lady, an adult film star, who he had an affair with. So now, what do you think? Is it something to do with destiny that these two at the same time are facing something of the sort? Because they seem to all have left virtually his big brother left, and then he also. So is it a way of getting rid of all the Trumpites or bringing them back? What do you think? Well. Let me tell you more about what is happening on the world front. So I'll be bringing you more of that in a moment. Okay, but in other parts of the world, President Xi has said Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin are beginning a second day of talks as part of the Chinese president's state visit to Moscow. Now, despite Putin's my apologies. Yesterday, Putin welcomed his dear friend to the Kremlin, and the pair held more than 4 hours of informal talks. Now, according to Russian state media, Xi has invited the Russian leader to visit Beijing sometime this year. Now, there are concerns that China's support for Russia, currently based on technology and trade, might become military. Now, meanwhile, in Kyiv, Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida will today make a surprise visit for talks with President Zelensky. The International Criminal Court last week issued an arrest warrant for President Putin for alleged war crimes. But what do we see here? Back in China, official media are hailing the friendship between countries, that's the country and Russia, as Xi Jinping continues his visit to Moscow. In an op-ed published in Russia media yesterday, Xi said the two sides uphold the concept of generations long friendships and win-win cooperation. The two sides firmly support each other in pursuing development paths that suit their respective national conditions. Now, other state media has chosen to highlight the fact Russia was the destination for Xi's first foreign visit after he became president of China a decade ago, and this is already his 8th time going back. Now, Xi's visit is being portrayed as both a peace mission and a blueprint for relationship with the world's superpowers. Now, the Global Times said the two leaders meeting is a positive demonstration of how big nations can peacefully coexist. Now, it contrasted China-Russia relation with the old cliques of the West, where the power balance is uneven. Treat me as equal, then we can get on. But if you try to be like you are the top guy and I'm nothing, well, that seems to be what they're saying there. But what do you think about all that? It's all coming away from Starr Radio, okay? It's your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Moving on straight to some other stories making the rounds as well. Still in Ukraine or in Russia. Now, Ukraine says Russian missiles destroyed in Crimea. That's one of the stories making the rounds. An explosion in the north of annexed Crimea has destroyed Russian missile being transported by rail, Ukraine Defense Ministry has said. Now, the Russian installed head of the city of Zhankoy said the area had been attacked by drones. Now, Ukraine announced the explosion, but as is normal, did not explicitly say it was behind the attack. It confirmed it will be a rare foray by Ukraine's military into Crimea, which has been annexed since 2014. Now, Russia has suffered attacks in Crimea before, but in most cases, responsibility has either been unacknowledged by Ukraine or blamed on some kind of partisan sabotage. Now, this strike is confirmed, if confirmed, suggests that the capacity of the Ukrainian Air Force to deploy drones has increased. Now, until now, Crimea has largely seemed out of the range of Ukrainian missiles, but this attack indicates that a drone at least can reach deeper behind Russian lines than previously thought. The mysterious explosion destroyed Russian caliber NK cruise missiles intended for use by Russia Black Sea Fleet. Ukrainian Defense Intelligence said caliber missiles have been widely used in the attacks on Ukrainian cities and infrastructure in recent months. One unconfirmed report from a resident cited on Ukrainian TV spoke of booms that went on for 30 minutes, leaving parts of Zhankoy with no electricity. The blast continues the process of Russian demilitarization and prepares the Ukrainian peninsula of Crimea for deoccupation, the defense ministry said. It is all Starr Radio UK. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Okay, let's quickly touch on a couple of stories. One from the US, and then we come back. Now, US police are on alert ahead of possible Donald Trump arrest. So if I were Trump, I said I would drive straight there so that there is no arrest. But well, he doesn't want to go or what. But police in major US cities are preparing for potential unrest in case ex-president Donald Trump is arrested this week as part of a hush money inquiry. Now, authorities in New York, Washington, D.C., and Los Angeles are ramping up their law enforcement presence. The Manhattan prosecutor may charge Mr. Trump over how he declared a payment to a porn star to keep quiet about an alleged affair. It will be the first criminal case brought against a former U.S. president. Now, still barricades were being erected on Monday outside the Manhattan Criminal Court, where Mr. Trump could be charged, fingerprinted, and photographed if charges are filed this week. A U.S. media widely anticipate increased police presence has also been seen outside Trump's tower in the city. Every member of the New York Police Department, including plainclothes detectives, have been ordered to wear their full uniforms on Tuesday and is being placed on standby to mobilize, a police source said on the CBC. Wow. So that's what's going to happen there. Shamsuddin, hey, how are you doing? And thank you very much for joining in. He says that God bless Yoruba Nation. God bless Shamsuddin as well. All right then. Well, now let's move on to the final segment of the show for this morning. I didn't mislead Parliament, or I misled Parliament. Which is which? The former Prime Minister Boris Johnson accepts that he misled Parliament over lockdown parties at number 10, but says he did not do so intentionally or recklessly. In a 52-page document, the former Prime Minister says he takes full responsibility for everything that took place on my watch, or on his watch. A committee of MPs investigating whether he misled Parliament and are due to question him in a formal session tomorrow. The committee has already said in an interim report that evidence suggests that he may have misled Parliament on multiple occasions. Now, if the committee finds that he did so, he could be suspended or even expelled from the Commons, forcing a by-election. Well, what do you think it's going to be? Well, Nick Edley, a chief political correspondent of the BBC, has said a key argument made by Boris Johnson is that he relied on the advice of officials. Now, several times he lists the discussions he had with key aides, including Director of Communications Jack Doyle. Now, Johnson says he relied on their advice and had not been told rules had been broken. So he told them, we're going to have a party, but what do you think? Have we broken the protocol? They said, no, it is all right for you to go on. But the questions the committee is likely to ask, however, is whether it should have been obvious. They have previously said they think it should have been clear to that they were being broken. But what do you think? So, well, it wasn't a party. But it wasn't a party. There was no party going on. There wasn't loud music blaring. And there wasn't a cheese and wine. So there wasn't any parties there. But what do you think about all that? Well. It is Starr Radio, okay? And this is where I bring the program to a close for today. I promise you tomorrow I'm going to be coming your way with another edition of the morning show. But my producer says you have to put this story across before you go. And this time around pertaining to the damning report that has found institutional racism, misogyny, homophobia within the Metropolitan Police, and suggested the force could be broken up if it fails to improve. The Met Police Commissioner Mark Rowley has accepted the findings and systemic failings, but says he won't use the term institutional. Now, officers provided a KC review with harrowing testimony about how they were treated by colleagues. Now, the report found complaints were likely to be turned against ethnic minority officers, with black officers 81% more likely to be in misconduct system than white colleagues. Now, Baroness Doreen Lawrence, the mother of black teenager Stephen Lawrence, who was murdered in 1993, said the report's findings were no surprise. The Prime Minister said trust in the police had been hugely damaged, while the Mayor of London said it was one of the darkest days in the force's history. Now, what do you say there? I've got some police officers who are neighbors. They are my friends, you know. David and the lovely wife. What do you call her? Yes. And I salute them. I think was it last Saturday we were having a chat and was telling me that report that is coming. You know, Archie, that I'm not. I said, no, I know you are my buddy, so I know how we play our game. So we hope that somewhere somehow help them to reform or put their house in order to get things done properly. But what do you think about all that? This is Star Radio UK, and this is where I bring the program to a close for today. We're going to be having bring you some music, but as they say, this afternoon exactly at 1:30, that's in the next hour, we shall have BB Clement coming your way with BB Means Business. So stay tuned, don't you go away. It is Star. It is your favorite African and Caribbean radio station in London. Enjoy this song from Ash, and it's a cover version of Bob Marley's song No Woman No Cry. Enjoy it. When it ends and don't hear from me, it will mean your one and only Archie saying have a top of the day. Bye bye for now. Shamsuddin says Yoruba Nation will won. God bless you all, sir. God bless you, every one of you who joined in today. And until I come your way tomorrow, I say bye bye for now.
Shed no tears, no woman, no cry. Said I remember when we used to sit in the government yard and trenched out about observing the hypocrites. Mingle with the good people with me. Good friends we have and good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say.
Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening. Thanks for listening.